So you have picked the themes option of the Ghost of August series. Now the real major theme of the Ghost of August is reality. Which world is reality, which world isn't? Most people would probably argue that the real world would be the modern day setting. My question to you is, how often do you dream of a time that has yet to come? Do you dream of the future? I mean, if no one dreamed of the future, there wouldn't be any science fiction novels or, Star Wars-like creations. I mean, a world beyond ours. But I think the world that the narrator wakes up in the end is reality. Ludovico was described with being written with madness towards the end of his life, which led him to the murder of his lover and his suicide that soon after followed. Because in the beginning of the story, the narrator is going through Tuscany, which is a very beautiful place, which has, even to this day, has not changed as much. It's a very timeless place. Going there is like going back into the past. And they haven't changed as much. The only things that seemed modern that was mentioned was the car and an exercise room. I mean, even back a long time ago, they had, exercise, and they had vehicles of their own, mainly drawn by horses and other four-legged animals, but vehicles. And even to this day, I mean, people always dream of a time that has yet to come. I mean, we dream of flying cars right now. Why can't someone else dream of a vehicle without a horse? Because he doesn't go into much detail as to, of course, what a car looks like or what the exercise room looks like. Actually, everything in the modern world outside Ludovico's room is described so vague, just like in a dream. So could it be the dream? Well, here's a passage from the story. Miguel had renovated the entire first floor and built a modern bedroom with marble floors, a sauna, and exercise equipment, as well as the terrace covered with brilliant flowers where we had eaten lunch. The second story, the one most used over the centuries, consisted of characterless rooms with furnishings from different periods, which had been abandoned to their fate. But on the top floor, we saw a room, preserved intact, that time had forgotten to visit, the bedroom of Ludovico. The moment was magical. There stood the bed, its curtains embroidered in gold thread, the bedspread, and the prodigies of passementerie still stiff with dried blood of his sacrificed lover. There was a fireplace with its icy ashes, and its last log turned to stone, the amour with its weapons primed, and, in a gold frame, the oil portrait of a pensive knight, painted by some Florentine master who did not have the good fortune to survive his time. What affected me the most, however, was the unexplainable scent of fresh strawberries that hung over the entire bedroom. Now, what really got me thinking that Ludovico and the narrator were the same person was the quote about the strawberries. It's not uncommon for people to dream and still have some senses remain in reality. So he may say Ludovico had stabbed his lover already and had fallen asleep. And still, and as he dreams of this modern world, of this narrator with a wife and two sons, he still smells the scent of strawberry because, well, there's no other mention of the smells in other parts of the story, so we can only assume with the details we are given. That's just a little extra things to think about when you think about the theme of reality and dream. Now, the first time I read it, I assumed that the world he actually woke up in, where he woke up in a bed of blood-soaked sheets, was the dream, because he had actually heard the story earlier that day. He ended up dreaming it. I mean, how many times have people heard a story and dreamt of it the same night? Because he had seen the room, so his subconscious could have led him back to that room easily.